Welcome. This is Liberty Lines on Pat's Answers Archives. I'm Pat Cansor. In the 1950s, as a requirement for graduation from Chicago public elementary schools, it was necessary not only to pass a test on the U.S. Constitution, but also to memorize and explain the Preamble to the Constitution. The Preamble sets the stage for the Constitution. It clearly communicates the intentions of the framers and the purpose of the document. The Preamble is an introduction to the highest law of the land. It is not the law. It does not define government powers or individual rights. 62 years later, I still remember those 52 words memorized so long ago. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Establish justice is the first of 5 objectives outlined in the 52-word paragraph that the framers drafted in 6 weeks during that hot Philadelphia summer of 1867. We, the people of the United States. The phrase people of the United States has long been understood to mean nationals and citizens. This approach reasons that if the political community speaking for itself in the Preamble, we the people, includes only U.S. nationals and citizens, by negative implication, it specifically excludes aliens and foreign nationals. The Constitution claims to be an act of we the people. However, because it represents a general social contract, there are limits on the ability of individual citizens to pursue legal claims allegedly arising out of the Constitution. For example, if a law were enacted which violated the Constitution, not just anybody could challenge the statute's constitutionality in court. Instead, only an individual who was negatively affected by the unconstitutional statute could bring such a challenge. The judiciary does not have the authority to invalidate unconstitutional laws solely because they are unconstitutional, but may declare a law unconstitutional if its operation would injure a person's interests. We will continue with Liberty Lines after these important words. It is important to understand that the Constitution does not create rights for anyone. It simply serves as a grant of power to and a blueprint for the structure of the federal government. The rights of the people existed before the founding of the United States. You do not have constitutional rights. You just have rights. To protect them, you must understand them. The book, A Republic If You Can Keep It, can help you with that understanding. Available at patsanswers.com/blog. Click on the Store tab. $16.95 plus shipping and handling. All major credit cards are accepted. Buy it today. Welcome back. We'll continue now. In order to form a more perfect union. The phrase to form a more perfect union has been construed as referring to the shift to the Constitution from the Articles of Confederation. The contemporaneous meaning of the word perfect was complete, finished, fully informed, confident, or certain. The phrase has been interpreted in various ways throughout history based on the context of the times. For example, shortly after the Civil War, the ratification of the 14th Amendment, the Supreme Court said that the Union was made more perfect by the creation of a federal government with enough power to act directly upon citizens, rather than a government with narrowly limited power that could act on citizens only indirectly through the states, for example, by imposing taxes. To this day, there are those who disagree with that idea. Also, The institution was created as a government over the states and the people, not an agreement, union, between the states. Once again, this is still a bone of contention. Establish justice. The term establish justice in the preamble of the Constitution means to begin fairness for all. There are reasons why this statement was added to the preamble of the Constitution. The preamble explains the reasons why the U.S. government was formed a certain way. The U.S. government has a legal system that is expected to make fair decisions regarding citizens' problems. It ensured that no individual or entity had a superior position to civil and criminal statutes. Adding this phrase into the preamble of the Constitution helped the American citizens believe and feel secure in knowing that they would have justice under the new Constitution. Ensure domestic tranquility. To ensure domestic tranquility means to make sure that everything in your country or domestically is running smoothly. It means, in a nutshell, to maintain order at home. This part of the preamble focuses within the borders of the United States. One of the main reasons why the Constitutional Convention was held was because of Shays' Rebellion. This was an uprising of farmers in Massachusetts against the state for having to repay war debts. Citizens were worried with keeping the peace within the country's border. It means having a civilian government force that will defend the population and enforce laws that maintain peace and order and keep citizens and their property safe from harm. Seems like the government has kind of dropped the ball on that over the last year. Provide for the common defense. The federal government does have a responsibility to provide for the common defense, but it can only do so within the scope of the powers delegated. The federal government can declare war, support armies, provide a navy, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and call out the militia under certain conditions. But there is nothing even hinting at a power to create a Department of Homeland Security, or to direct the NSA to spy on Americans, much less to grope me at the airport. Common defense simply means that any taxes collected and funds spent must be for the benefit of the United States as a whole, not for partial or sectional or special interests. The federal government may provide for the common defense, but it must do so within the scope of the powers delegated and without favoritism. Promote the general welfare. Article 1, Section 8 delegates specific powers to Congress, and in the first clause we again find the words general welfare. Does this mean that Congress can tax and spend for any purpose as long as it provides for the general welfare? No, because a list of specific powers follow. When reading a legal document, the enumeration of certain powers logically excludes all powers not listed. This is actually a legal maxim. Designato unius est exclusio alteris, meaning the designation of one is the exclusion of the other. In Federalist Number 45, James Madison wrote that the powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. If that's true, we can't not take the term general welfare to authorize a general legislative authority. And secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. What does securing the blessings of liberty mean? In answering the question of what does securing the blessings of liberty mean, it should be borne in mind that right from creation, all men were born equal, and with that we all possess rights which have been protected by the body of law. It is these rights that are referred to as the blessings of liberty. Thus, securing the blessings of liberty refers to the preservation of the rights and freedoms of each citizen. The essence of this phrase in the preamble to the U.S. Constitution is to ensure that the rights of the people for liberty are duly preserved for themselves and for their children. There exists a legal and institutional framework for the protection of these rights. However, the ultimate responsibility lies in the hands of the citizen, who has to be proactive in ensuring that his or her rights are protected and promoted. The Constitution did not expressly define those rights that make up the blessings of liberty. Different views exist on what constitutes the blessings of liberty. However, some of these rights are generally described as the blessings of liberty in the Bill of Rights. These rights are freedom of speech, the right to vote, freedom of religion, the right to seek redress for grievances by the government. The U.S. Constitution, by its provisions, seeks to secure these blessings of liberty as the provisions preserve the right to freedom of speech, religion, right to bear arms, and the right to vote. In the final analysis, it becomes obvious that the founders held the firm belief that rights were individual and not corporate, that they were a gift of the Creator as a birthright for having been born, and that rather than confer rights, it was the duty of the Constitution and thereby the government to protect and preserve those rights. That's my take on it. What's yours? Email me with your thoughts at librarian@patsanswers.com. This has been Liberty Lines at Pat's Answers Archives. Join us again next time, and stay tuned for these important words. This episode of Liberty Lines is brought to you in part by visiting Branson, Missouri? Hungry for some authentic Southern barbecue? Big D's strives hard to be the best Branson barbecue and was recently awarded first place in the Best of Branson Viewers' Choice Award for Best Barbecue in Branson. With their friendly service and low and slow cooking methods, Big D's Barbecue prides itself on serving up delicious smoked meats using their own proprietary blend of dry rub spices for full flavor. They smoke their meats low and slow for maximum flavor and tender, juicy goodness. The brisket is melt in your mouth awesome. Try one of their signature platters and combine it with Big D's signature pit beans, smoked corn, or coleslaw. Each recipe has been developed over the years and is an original you'll find only at Big D's Barbecue. Located at 1550 State Highway 248 on the Red Route between O'Reilly Auto Parts and Simmons Bank. Their phone number is 417-337-5100. Tell them Pat Answers Archives sent you. See you soon.